The Three Billy Goats Gruff was a children's story published in 1841. It was many Americans' first introduction to trolls. It was also the first popular reference to a troll living under a bridge. In the story, three goats are seeking green pastures, but to reach the pasture, they must traverse a bridge that is guarded by a hungry troll. The troll tries to eat the goats, but the two smaller goats convince the troll that the largest goat would be the best meal. The largest goat bucks the troll off the bridge, never to be seen again. Trolls date back to the 9th century, and there have been many different depictions and descriptions of them since then. Something about the troll continues to stick with us. Why do we still relate to the troll and continue to embed it into our landscapes? What function does the troll fulfill? To answer these questions, we'll explore the troll through the landscape of the Pacific Northwest. In the city of Seattle, trolls dot the landscape in all directions, the most prominent of which include the Fremont troll and Thomas Dambo's troll sculptures. One represents a common narrative surrounding trolls in the 19th and 20th century, and the other represents a potential turn in the future of the troll. But before we explore what trolls mean in our current landscape, let's go back to the origins of trolls as a folklore figure. Early depictions of trolls from Norse traditions show a hulking colossus, often emerging from water or mountains as a coalescence of landscape. These solitary, haunting, and often nocturnal figures were said to inhabit remote regions of unknown peril. The cultural function of this folklore was likely cautionary, embodying the danger of unknown landscapes. We asked Hilary Tully, the director of Arbutus Folk School, to help us gain a better understanding of what folklore is and how it functions in the contemporary landscape.
Folklore is defined a little more broadly in the academic world of just expressive culture and how it looks and what it means to be of a certain culture. There's no rules about what is and isn't, just because it is very fluid and everything changes all the time. People are taking their traditions everywhere and adapting their traditions in so many ways. One concept in folklore that I really like is something doesn't have staying power if it doesn't ring true. Anything that helps us process or promote what's important or scary or poignant in life, that's where you see folklore arise the most, like weddings, death, coming of age. We need places and objects to navigate these things. No cultural symbol will mean the same thing to everyone, but memory is very powerful. A troll that a kid plays on today will be half rotted and very meaningful to that same kid when he brings his own kid to play on it. And I think right now we're struggling to form and hang on to identity because we're not together and we're lonely. So shared experience through a symbol, such as a large troll that we all went to look at, is coalescing something and people like it and are drawn to it. We're just so hungry for that right now.
What was Fremont hungry for that made them build a 13,000-pound cement troll? In 1990, the Fremont Neighborhood Association held a contest for a design that would live under the north side of the Aurora Bridge, an area which was becoming a regular camping site for the homeless, as well as an unsanctioned dumping ground. The community voted for the troll design by Will Martin, Steve Badanes, Ross Whitehead, and Donna Walter. Whitehead noted, "Trolls aren't too distinguishable from the landscape, according to Norwegian legend, which is what we hope happens to ours." In 1990, Scott Doolin, member of the Fremont Arts Council, stated, "We think Fremont changed too fast in the 1980s. Development was out of control. Much of that has changed. We don't feel under siege anymore. We just want to keep this a good place for families and small businesses." To some people, the troll was created to slow the tide of development, which was being perceived as changing the spirit of the neighborhood. It's unclear if the troll actually helped slow development, or it may have had the opposite effect. But it's clear that to some people in Fremont, at a specific moment in time, the making of that troll was important. In 2023, Thomas Dambo's trolls entered the Seattle landscape. Dambo is a self-proclaimed recycle art activist who uses the folklore of trolls from his Danish culture to draw humans back to nature. Using recycled materials from wherever the trolls are built, such as old house shingles and store pallets, Dambo wants to take trash and turn it into something that will open people's eyes and minds. As of the end of 2025, Dambo has created over 150 giant wooden troll sculptures and installed them worldwide, with 5 of them in the Puget Sound region as a part of his global eco-conscious art initiative, Trail of 1,000 Trolls. Unlike the Fremont Troll, which came out of a community shaping their local landscape, Dambo is a single artist using trolls to spread messages of environmentalism in communities beyond his own. It's no mistake that Seattle is home to several giant trolls, as Seattle does have a rich Scandinavian history. Around the turn of the 20th century, Nordic culture found its way to the unknown landscapes of Seattle. Driven by a combination of economic, political, and social factors back home, many families left Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland, seeking better opportunities in the Northwest. Many Scandinavian immigrants were already familiar with the fishing and logging industries, and thus were able to fit in with the industries of the Puget Sound relatively easily. This being said, many Scandinavians faced discrimination because of their heritage, and it was not until the mid-century that they became more assimilated with the greater white population of Seattle. Eventually, cultural preservation efforts, like the building of the Nordic History Museum, were initiated to highlight a unique aspect of Seattle's history. In these efforts of cultural preservation, Scandinavian imagery and artifacts are often closely tied to the landscape, both through narratives and in public art. It could be argued that Thomas Dambo's trolls have such purchase and sticking power in Seattle because of the prevalence of these narratives and success in the reification of Scandinavian cultural imagery. The trolls clearly resonate with Seattleites and are quite successful as public art pieces, which begs the question, which cultures do we choose to reify and which are obscured from our understanding of placemaking? While the cultural preservation of Scandinavian history is certainly important, we wonder about the success of preservation efforts of other cultures who are present in the Pacific Northwest. A study by Tupel, Zadino, Stoffel, and Barabe on cultural landscapes and ethnographic cartographies is an example of landscape decisions informed by Scandinavian American and American Indian knowledges of the land. In their study of Wellington Canyon in southern Nevada, field interviews and mapping with 15 representatives from tribes of the southern Paiute, western Shoshone, Owens Valley Paiute, and Mojave ethics groups were used to reveal landscape spiritual and physical connections with the area that then informed land management decisions. Researchers use these methodologies to also work with Scandinavian American folk fishers in Isle Royale, Michigan, to inform natural resource management decision-making and co-management of fishing areas. Folklore and culture associated with respective landscapes can directly inform how people interact with the land. The Fremont Neighborhood Association voted for a design that harnessed the folklore of a Norwegian troll indistinguishable from the landscape to shape the underside of the bridge and their neighborhood as a whole. Thomas Dambo is using mythical, eco-friendly trolls to inspire people around the globe to care for the environment. Trolls are just one example of folklore animating a landscape to fill a cultural need or aspiration. In search for meaning, some cultures are put on a pedestal and others may be ignored. Our task at hand is not a matter of picking which folklore best suits the problems of the day, but rather fostering a culture that helps everyone feel more connected to the land that we live on. It all starts with the stories that we tell ourselves.